In the high-stakes arena of college football, where every snap can swing a season, the concept of a bye week has long been peddled as a benevolent interlude, a chance for bruised bodies to mend and strategies to sharpen. But as the Nebraska Cornhuskers sit idle this week following their gut-wrenching 30-27 loss to number 21 Michigan on September 20th, 2025, it's glaringly obvious. Bye weeks aren't a gift. They're a glitch in the system, an outdated relic that disrupts momentum, dilutes fan engagement, and hands an unfair edge to the calendar's whims. For a program like Nebraska clawing back relevance under Matt Rule, this post-week 4 breather isn't recovery. It's a roadblock, perfectly encapsulating why these artificial pauses must be scrapped from the FBS schedule. A brief, bureaucratic history, from necessity to nuisance. Bye weeks in college football trace their roots to the 1980s, when the NCAA formalized scheduling bylaws to prevent oversaturation in a sport ballooning toward a 12-game regular season. Bylaw 17.11.4 mandates that teams cannot kick off before the Thursday preceding Labor Day, ensuring a standardized start while capping contests at 12 or 13 for Hawaii exemptions. This created built-in off weeks to fit the calendar's 13 to 14 Saturdays between late August and late November. In years like 2024 and 2025, an extra Saturday, courtesy of Labor Day's early placement, doubles the byes to 2 for most teams, with outliers like Florida State snagging 3. What began as a pragmatic fix for logistical chaos has morphed into a mandatory downtime that no one asked for, especially not in an era of expanded playoffs demanding peak performance through December. Proponents cling to justifications rooted in player welfare and preparation. The NCAA touts byes as safeguards against the grind of a contact sport, citing reduced injury risks and time for academic catch-up. Claims echoed in studies showing marginal drops in soft tissue strains post-rest. Coaches like Kentucky's Mark Stoops argue they allow targeted film study and injury rehab, potentially boosting output against upcoming foes. In theory, an extra week heals nicks from 60-minute wars and lets coordinators dissect tendencies, turning potential pitfalls into precision plays. Yet these defenses crumble under scrutiny. Data from 2000 to 2014 reveals FBS teams posting a sub-.500 record, 48.6%, in conference games immediately after byes, suggesting the rest advantage is a myth at best, a mild hindrance at worst. A 2020 analysis across 20 seasons found no statistically significant performance bump. Teams win about 50% of post-bye tilts, mirroring their baseline, with rust from lost rhythm offsetting any healing. Football's precision demands weekly reps. A pause invites complacency, where habits atrophy and execution falters. As one anonymous Big Ten assistant put it, you don't fix a leaky roof by stopping the rain. You drill the fundamentals harder. The mounting criticisms, rhythm killers in a relentless sport. The backlash against bye weeks has swelled, fueled by empirical evidence and on-field realities. Foremost is the momentum killer, teams on hot streaks, like a 3-0 Nebraska entering Big Ten play, shed velocity during downtime. Historical trends show squads coming off wins dip in efficiency, with completion rates and tackle success plummeting as muscle memory fades. In 2015, post-bye squads underperformed spreads by 2.1 points on average, a gap wide enough to flip close contests. Nebraska embodies this. After dismantling UTEP and Colorado in non-conference romps, the Huskers' rhythm against Michigan, marked by 7 sacks on Dylan Raiola and gaping run lanes yielding 286 Wolverines rushing yards, reeked of a team shaking off cobwebs from an unnecessary pause. Injury prevention is another hollow claim. While proponents point to lower acute trauma post-bye, the intervening recuperative practices often mimic game intensity, inviting strains without the payoff of competition. Nebraska staff, per reports, ramped up walkthroughs and conditioning drills this week, risking tweaks to linemen like Elijah Pritchett amid a brutal slate ahead. Michigan State on October 4th, then Ohio State and Wisconsin in November. Data bears it out. Teams like Kentucky are 6 to 10 lifetime post-bye under Stoops, with road woes 0 to 5, amplifying the hazard. For the Huskers, nursing bruises from Justice Haynes' 149-yard demolition. This by forces simulated hits that could sideline Ja'Cory Barney Jr. or Heinrich Harburg just as Raiola's arm heats up. Fan and broadcast woes compound the farce. Staggered byes scatter marquee matchups, leaving Saturday sparse. Week 4's slate sans Ohio State, Penn State, or Georgia felt like a half measure. Nebraska's 87,278-strong Memorial Stadium faithful, roaring through a near upset of Michigan, now stare at empty calendars, their passion idled, when unity could build national buzz. TV deals suffer too. Empty slots erode viewership, as networks juggle filler over fireworks. In a 12-team playoff era, where every yard counts toward at-large bids, a disjointed regular season mocks the format's intent. Even academics, a perennial excuse, ring false. Players aren't suddenly cramming midterms during byes. Nil obligations and strength sessions fill the void, turning rest into regimented drudgery. Nebraska's 3-1 squad, riding Raiola's 308-yard, 3-TD gem against Michigan, needed reps to solidify an O-line that yielded 52 lost yards, not downtime to ponder syllabi. Whispers in the end zone. Conspiracy theories fuel the fire. Lurking beneath the surface are darker suspicions, amplifying the disdain. Fans whisper that by placements aren't random, but rigged by conference overlords to protect cash cows, scheduling powerhouses like Alabama or Ohio State for late buys to peak in rivalry weeks, while upstarts like Nebraska draw early duds. In 2025's two-bye quirk, theories abound that the Big Ten slotted Nebraska's post-Michigan breather to blunt their upset glow, preserving parity for TV-friendly Ohio State clashes. Another trope, buys as soft resets for scandal-plagued programs, echoing Michigan's 2023 sign-stealing saga, where off weeks allegedly masked investigations. Though unproven, these notions thrive on opaque scheduling committees, eroding trust in a sport already scarred by nil inequities. Nebraska's nightmare, a harmful hiatus in the Huskers' honeymoon. No critique lands harder than Nebraska's current plight. At 3-1 after torching Michigan for 420 total yards, outgaining the Wolverines 420-398. This bye is a sabotage. Rules rebuild hummed. Raiola's 79.8% completion pre-halftime. Barney's 142 yards and 2 scores. Momentum crested in Lincoln's sea of red, yet the calendar yanks the plug, forcing a reset when rhythm reigns. Facing middling Michigan State 2-2 next, the Huskers could have feasted on Aiden Child's footwork flaws and a secondary ranked 105th against the pass. Instead, they risk rust. Historical data shows 3-1 teams post-bye win just 52% of ensuing games, often in low-scoring slogs. This isn't recuperation, it's regression. Practices can't replicate 87,000 fans' roar or Michigan's blitzes, leaving Raiola's protection scheme stale and the Blackshirts' run fits untested. Injuries loom larger. Romer Johnson's 62 yards versus Haynes' exposed gaps. A by-drill tweak could bench him for Spartans linebackers primed to swarm. Fan frustration boils. Memorial Stadium's energy, electric for the Wolverines' thriller, dissipates into dorm room debates. And in playoff chases, this pause stalls Nebraska's resume, as rivals like Penn State rack up statement wins. Bye weeks are a farce, born of 1980s inertia in a 2025 reality. They prioritize phantom rest over proven progress, harming teams like Nebraska when unity matters most. Ditch them. Extend to 13 straight games through Thanksgiving. The Huskers deserve action, not idleness, before this break breaks their season.